Good morning. This is James with the Third Group. Today I'm here with Vineet Mohan, the founder and CEO of FastTrackr AI. Great to have you, Vineet.
Thank you, sir. James, lovely to see you again. I know we met last month in Boca. It's good to see you again. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, sure. Third Group was introduced to Vineet pretty much, a wealth tech startup. We met at a conference and we started talking, and FastTrackr offers some of the leading automation tools for advisors and client services teams. Um, while they're not hiring at the moment and the Third Group's not able to help now, they're definitely planning on in the future. And we just sort of, turn it into an opportunity to have a conversation. So, yeah, FastTrackr's, really exciting. They founded this year, 2025, and they already have clients lined up to use the product and software. So, Vineet, maybe you could just, I guess, jump in. Maybe tell us, how you came up with the idea and where that stems from. Definitely wanted to hear more on that side.
Sure. Maybe, and firstly, James, like you said, I think it was great to meet you at the event last month, and I think the relationship always starts somewhere, and we are looking to grow, and I'm sure we'll work very closely going forward. So excited about that as well. But yeah, we're still kind of early in the game, I would say. We started FastTrackr earlier this year. Personally, my past life is in financial services, but as a banker, I was at HSBC Group for a very long time. Almost 14 years, and spent a lot of that time in different parts of the world with the bank, doing a variety of roles, including roles like integrating the bank with fintechs, including some prominent wealth techs in the US, and also a lot of exposure to the operational side, implementation side, client service side, because I used to run some of the regional operations as well. But that was up until last year. And, I've also been very interested in the startup ecosystem in many ways. And, I was doing that vicariously as an investor for 10 years, experiencing the joy of building through others. So I thought last year, it's time to do it on my own. And I found the perfect partners in crime, Amit and Kushal, who are my colleagues, who also come from financial services. They've built and sold fintechs before. And we were very keen to build with AI in financial services. Obviously, all of us come from financial services, but we also have depth in AI. Kushal, who's our CPO, has spent years in AI and research from before the time of ChatGPT when this became popular globally. And we kind of stumbled upon wealth management. Obviously, we knew wealth management. We've been tracking it. As I said, we have knowledge of wealth management a little bit from the outside. But we stumbled upon it, and we realized that actually, it's a very big, deep industry. I mean, you know this better than me. Highly fragmented yet, and very interesting macro trends, and we can go into some of those details, later on. And AI is, as a technology, is in a position to meaningfully impact some of those operational workflows. We think so. The idea, that kind of gave birth to FastTrackr earlier this year was we want to build an AI stack, and the idea is to fast track some of the operations, right, from meetings to analysis of client documents to onboarding clients. I'll stop there.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big change going from the banking world, the big bank world, to the startup. So congrats to you on making that big move and all the success that you've had so far. It's great to see. I guess for me, I guess for everyone that's going to listen in on this, I guess we want to just know a high level overview of FastTrackr, of the software and some of its core features, and then maybe we could go into some other questions about, what does what specifically.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So like I said, our focus is very much on the operational workflows within large, medium, or small RIAs. And what I mean by that is with FastTrackr, our vision is to build an AI stack for these organizations, for these firms, for these advisors. And the way we're going about it is taking a modular approach. So we're building multiple modules as part of that stack. And today we've already identified and built three of those. So the first module is what we call our AI meeting assistant. And this has actually been quite a popular use case in this space. There, how an AI meeting assistant helps an advisor is it prepares the advisor ahead of his or her meeting by telling the advisor about the recent interactions that they've had with their client. It looks up emails, CRM entries. It provides a detailed summary, identifies action items during the meeting, and then helps the advisor with a bunch of follow-on items as well after the meeting. So, for example, sending a follow-up email, pushing those those notes or tasks to the CRM, and so on and so forth. So
Yeah.
that's the meeting assistant. It's live. We have customers, like you said earlier. The second module is actually slightly further in the journey. Say if you've spoken to a prospect and now you want to analyze the prospect and make a case to the prospective client about working with you, one of the steps that happens there is to kind of analyze a bunch of financial documents for that prospect or their household, right? Think brokerage statements, bank statements, tax statements, that kind of stuff. So we've designed a module where you can upload all of those documents. We'll parse and extract relevant information from those statements. We'll consolidate it at a household level. We'll then enrich it with data from external sources like Morningstar and present insights. That helps advisors analyze, at a household level, data points that can make them go back to their client with some interesting proposals and so on and so forth. So that's the second module. So both of these modules are live, James, and the third module that we've kind of, I'd say, coming soon is on the onboarding side,
Great.
where say the prospect says, "Hey, advisor, I'd love to work with you." The next step really is gathering all of that data about that prospect, pre-filling your account opening forms, setting up profiles in your CRMs, financial client software, that kind of stuff. So we're kind of working on that use case as well. And the good thing is, like I said, the idea is to build a stack. So these things actually feed into each other as well. So they don't just sit in isolation either.
That's fantastic. Yeah, it's great progress so far. I think it's nice to have a couple of products and one coming that's gonna really be a game changer. I guess another piece like that I think of specifically, I guess the software and product design specific towards RIAs or wealth, but I mean, could family offices or other financial services industry companies use the software as well?
Yeah, I mean, if you think about the meeting assistant, actually, we've had inquiries where adjacent verticals, even within financial services, have expressed an interest. If you think about it, I mean, nobody likes typing up notes, and everybody wants a data-rich CRM. So a product that does that at a reasonable price point would be of interest to anyone. So yes, absolutely. I mean, as a firm, as an early stage company, especially, it's very important to focus, and we ensured that we're focusing on the RIA industry, and also because it's a very large and deep market by itself. But having said that, a lot of the modules here are definitely applicable for other adjacent verticals within financial services. If you go beyond financial services, I'd say yes, but I'd caveat it saying there are some nuances that we are kind of focusing on here. So we'd have to reprogram it a little bit, but I wouldn't say no. It is
Okay.
very much within the art of the possible. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good to hear because I feel like there's maybe different industries you could tap in or different, companies besides RIAs that may make sense for you. And, would love to make those introductions for you as we,
Yeah.
continue to grow the relationship. But then maybe you could dig deeper on the, reporting and analytics piece that maybe it provides to the advisors and leadership and, what tasks does it automate for you specifically? Is there anything specific that it's like the best at?
Yeah, I would say, anything that I would say operational, from an operational standpoint, there's a lot of work that nobody wants to do. What you'd call repetitive, manual, grunt work, right? Like I said, nobody likes to type up notes, but you can't have like a half-baked meeting summary either. So actually, it doesn't just replace the task of typing up notes. Now, that's a very borrowable example. That's why I'm taking it. It's not just replacing the basic task of typing notes. It actually does a much better job than a human ever can, right? Because you can't focus on talking to a client and also taking notes. So what this does is, you can have a much more productive, rich conversation with your client and actually utilize the entire hour to talk business, personal stuff, whatever, right? To build a relationship while this kind of works in the background. So that's one example. In terms of the document analysis processing engine, that's another good example, I'd say. If you think about it, everyone wants to understand, okay, this is a new household that I'm talking to. I want to understand what their finances look like. What advisors want to do is analyze the data once it's presented to them. Nobody likes the idea of actually extracting the data. Hey, they've got 10 stocks of Apple, or 15 stocks of Woo, or whatever, right? So that's grunt work that you lose hours in, or you delegate to someone on your team. Again, probably not the best use of their time. So those are things that, with AI, you can do. Like I said, at the start of our conversation, I think it can make meaningful impact. So it can, not just do it for you, but do it better as well. And, then because you were asking about analysis, today, many advisors only look at 4 or 5 data points from an analysis standpoint in that particular use case, largely because they're constrained by the time that they have. But if AI can not just extract, but enrich that data with multiple data points, say, look at Morningstar, external market data, etc., there's a lot more for the advisor to kind of dive into and think about when they're, looking after this particular prospective
Yeah.
household.
No, I agree there, and that's great insight. I mean, I think that it's extremely important to have the analytics and the reporting and all that
Yeah.
be accurate. But I guess one topic that we were discussing, you and I, which everybody talks about, everybody finds interesting and concerning maybe in ways, is that AI software is coming in to take everyone's role and eliminate all the roles across every RIA and wealth firm. So, that's going to maybe, put me out of work or something to that effect. So I have no more jobs to fill, but, Vineet's software is doing extremely well. But I think we both agree that, that's not the case. And, the AI software is here to just automate mundane tasks that are just you can focus elsewhere on your job pretty much, right? I mean, I think that I feel the way that you feel, there's no one that's going to ever make a personal relationship and build that relationship through an AI software. It's more task relevant, right?
Yeah. I mean, I hope we don't get there where we don't care for personal relationships. I think that is a scary thought. And actually, I mean, I mean, it's a very interesting topic we've spoken about, and I'll give my take. But I do have a question for you as well. I'd love to understand how you're looking at it. But maybe let me kind of respond first. Yeah, you're right. I see AI is a very powerful technology. I'm a strong believer of it. I was having a debate with someone, a discussion rather, saying, is this bigger than the internet? Even, right? And that is quite a statement. Because I do think it's extremely powerful. But internet enabled, it didn't, throw people out of work or business, right? Not that that's the best analogy, but I think it's the same here. There are certain tasks which will get replaced because it's just better to do it with AI, like the examples I gave earlier, right? Why would you have a human do extraction of information and data entry when technology can do it? But today, in your firm, as an RIA, if you've got someone who's supporting the lead advisor, and a large chunk of their daily or weekly time goes on in ensuring the CRM is up to date with all the meeting notes or data entry or creating reports which are all templatized. You're losing hours, right? That's not the best use of their time, right? On the other hand, if that meant that they can call on their clients more often because they have more time now, right? Be more proactive with the relationship. So instead of having 10 touch points with a client over a certain period, you now have time for 25, 30 touch points. And not just that, rich touch points, because AI can actually tell you these are some of the items you can bring up with this particular client, because you now have the ability to kind of scan across the different systems and the data that you have stored for that relationship. It actually makes the role of the support team, the advisor, a lot more value additive, I think. So from my standpoint, I think kind of sticking and aligning with whatever you said, I don't think it takes people away from jobs. I think it takes people away from tasks, that some tasks that they might be doing today, and maybe their roles will change a little bit in terms of what is expected of certain roles. And actually, that's kind of where I was going with. I'd love to, from the hiring and recruitment side, you guys bring in the folks who do the magic, right? Are you
Of
starting to see
course.
a little bit around, how, what sort of people are firms looking for, and is AI even like a consideration there? Like, people familiar with technology, is that a thing that they're looking
Yeah.
for, or not yet?
No, I mean it is. I mean, so myself and the third group, we specialize in helping companies scale
Yeah,
on really difficult positions, right? So whether it's a pre-Series A startup and you're like 4 people, or you're Fortune 500 and you got to scale up a new team internally, we focus on those key hires. So say like, DevOps or something, cloud, or some very unique C-level executive. And that's across RIAs, wealth, family office, hedge funds.
right.
So pretty much everything in the investment space. Um, and that's finance and accounting, compliance and risk. There's a number of different areas that we cover. But yeah, we're seeing a lot of different AI roles pop up that people are requesting, that are very, that are difficult to fill, because there's
Yep.
a lot of competition now for that field. But for us, we're seeing an uptick pretty much in jobs, and we're thinking that the third and fourth quarter of this year is going to bring, more jobs to the economy, an uptick in
Right.
that as well. And we're excited for that, because it's, it's new stuff for us to look at, and firms to help, that we could help grow.
And that's very pleasing to hear, and actually that's a proof point that people should look at when people throw around things like AI is going to replace and all of that. I think there's a lot of nuance to that.
Yeah, no, there is. And we're very specific in the roles we take on. A lot of the time, we'll meet a client for the first time, and go through what they're targeting and get a better understanding of the environment, and what they're looking for, and just come to
Right.
find out that, it's not the right thing for us, right? And maybe somebody else is better suited for it, So we really like to get an understanding and learn the facts before
Yep.
taking on any search, and then make a team decision, hey, are we going to be able to support this 100% or not? Because if it's not 100%, then we don't want to take it on.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah, but I wanted to go back to you for one more second, because I think there's a really important piece, for FastTrackr AI, and number one concern across RIAs and wealth, and every space for that matter, and that's the compliance and the security piece, SOC compliance and all that type of stuff. Now, maybe you want to just hit on that with FastTrackr, and I'm sure you guys are, have all your
Yep.
SOC compliance lined up, right?
Yes. I'm pleased to say we are SOC 2 Type 2 certified, and I think it's an important kind of milestone for a company in the space. I think because there's a lot of things that you can do internally, but SOC 2 Type 2 is an external audit as well. So you're getting a third party to look at how you got your processes set up and so on and so forth. So yeah, we're very proud of that. But I will also say that we are quite security first, and I think the industry is quite security first as well, right? Because we think about wealth management, well, the type of conversations that advisors and clients have, it's very sensitive. It's not just because they share financial data, but it's also a lot of personal data, uh, right? And it's the personal stuff that's tied into the financial uh, scenarios, their goals, whatever it might be. Um, so this data has to be handled very sensitively, and for that, security is very important. So SOC 2 Type 2, of course, is the certification, industry certification. But besides that, I think there are a few different things that we're doing. So, for example, with AI, everyone's fear is is data being used to train the models, and
Yeah.
there are ways to kind of prevent that. So we make sure that none of the data that we touch uh, is ever used by models that we use to train. So the data we touch is not trained, used to train models. That's one thing. The second thing is the data that you touch is also always encrypted, be that in motion, in transit, or at rest when it's kind of saved, right? So that's another thing. And the third thing I'd say is segregation, right? So data segregation, who has access to that data? There's kind of strict policies and protocols around that to make sure that only the right people get to see the right data. So I think these are some boxes that we make sure we tick, and from the get-go, it's not something you want to fix after. So we like to say that let's start with the right foundations from a security and infrastructure standpoint. So that's how we've kind of gone about it.
Well, the fact that you're SOC 2 compliant already, and that making that a priority, that's extremely important. So glad to see that for you, and I'm sure the clients are extremely happy about that, and just the continued products that you're going to roll out. I mean, that's just exciting. I think that there's just a lot more to go in the AI space, and we look forward to partnering with you, Vineet. I know at some point you're going to need
Yep.
some heavy tech lifting or something specific, and we're going to be
Yep.
there for you. But I think one thing that we want whoever's going to listen in on this is to make sure you check out Vineet's Advisor Alley. It's a weekly interview with different financial advisors across the world. A bunch of different great stories. I was checking it out too. He didn't want me on there since I'm not a financial advisor, but I understand. But yeah, really great insight from some of those folks, and you should check that out. But make sure to follow Vineet. Make sure to follow FastTrackr AI and some of the YouTube, channels that they have going on, as well as the Third Group and myself. And yeah, it would be great to do another conversation to check in a couple of months. But thanks for coming on and having this quick conversation. I feel like it's going to be really helpful to everyone out there that doesn't have a good understanding of some of these task management softwares and what they actually accomplishing, and the negatives and positives behind it.
Yep. No, thanks, James, and thanks for shout out to my podcast. I'm saving the best guests for later, man. You're going to be on it. So, no, I think with AI, and we're kind of scratching the surface. Really, is my strong belief. I mean, I'm not just talking FastTrackr here as an industry, but even for us, long way to go. We're excited. Good early baby steps, but long journey ahead. And of course, we need partners like you. I think that's one good thing about this ecosystem. I think there's several ways you can kind of help each other, work with each other, and you kind of, grow the pie together. And that's the beauty of kind of having strong relationships. So, no, looking forward to working closely with you and the Third Group as well. Thanks for having me, James. I wish you the best. I know this is the first of many conversations.
Great to see you,
That will
Vineet.
come up.
Have a great day. We'll be in touch soon, and stay tuned. Make sure you check out Vineet's Advisor Alley and check out the Third Group. Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, James.
Bye bye.